They've been slowly devaluing it since 1913, 100 and plus years ago, with the Federal Reserve. Now the dollar's only worth 1% of what it was, but still that 1% now, they're going to devalue out very quickly and leave you with the devaluation and the inflation. And that's what's being sold. That's what's being pushed. That's the savior all over the news. The new form of currency could transform the way we see money. And they go on to tell us it's going to be on how you act and where you spend it and what you do, making money, not just the tax code, but money itself, pure social engineering. And that's where we are. You have lived to see the big banks take over, and they got the whole world through fraud. So I've told you the background and why they're waging a new form of war to blow up the existing system. We're going to play that clip in a moment, and make you submit to this globalist takeover. And that's what they've done. And they admit it. They say it in the Great Reset. I'm going to play you clips when we come back. All run by face scanning. And all these fools think, I'll just go along. I'll be part of the system. I'll make money administering this. But you're coming down to the end of the road where you're going to lose everything you've got doing this. The only future is to say no to this. Plus, more importantly, it's about your soul and the decision you make against this right now. So that's the backdrop of why they've launched this bio war to make us all sick and collapsing, so things fall apart, so we accept the new digital world government currency and the Great Reset. That's what they call it, the Great Reset. Build back better. Got to blow us up first. All right, my friends, thank you for joining us on this live October 5th, Tuesday transmission. And I come to you from the war zone that is planet Earth. Now, I'm about to cover the depopulation news and the admissions, the facts, the public statements of Fauci, the arrogance of these criminals hiding in plain view. Because remember, art imitates life. So why in so many movies with villains or sci-fi films or dystopic films does the villain brag about what they do? Because that happens in history. They love to monologue about what they're planning, very thinly veiled in front of you before they do it. Just like the Riddler or the Joker will break in on TV or radio and tell you he's sending you a treat that'll come knocking in the night in the form of, so that it makes it more fun, like the Zodiac Killer taunting the police. And then while we all kill each other, they wait till one of us is dead, the other's hurt, the two groups, they play off against each other, and then in comes the Siamese fighting fish to kill his exhausted foe that he couldn't have beaten before. So let's lay it out. What is this all really about? The global private central banks of the world control big pharma. They control the defense establishment. They control energy. They control the media. They control everything but the church. They now control academia, and they control most of the church. And now they want the family. Now they want you individually. Now they want your mind. And the Bretton Woods Agreement that was set up to make America the new British Empire at the end of World War II is coming to an end. And they're in the Financial Times of London. They're at the CFR. They put out reports saying that a new order is forming, run by the UN and NATO, with shared power by what's left of the US, the European Union, and the Communist Chinese. Russia is basically cut out of that agreement. And so they are bringing in the end of the dollar as the world reserve currency, and with it, a new digital world currency tied to your COVID passport and tied to your carbon passport. This is the official plan now being announced. I told you about it decades ago, but now it's here. It's not theoretical. It's not in beta. It's in launch mode. And once they've done that, they can fully collapse the old monetary system, destroying your wealth, destroying what you have. And for you to be able to opt into the new global currency, you're going to have to pledge a large part of your wealth into this collective system for even the right to be in the new digital currency that has blockchain and has value. And so that is what they are walking us into, and that's why they're doing the things that they're currently doing, abolishing the police, undermining the borders, collapsing the country, demonizing the nation's very existence, putting in a president that can hardly talk, that people know stole the election. To carry all this out so you get angry and upset and lose faith and finally start rioting and hitting targets that are only going to hurt you, burning down your own neighborhoods. And then after the collapse, the globalists come in with their new currency and buy everything up with their digital fiat system. But on the way to collapsing everything, they're flooding the world with yens and yans and euros and rubles and dollars that they have control of at first use to buy up industry and to buy up leaders and to buy up medicine and science and universities and other banks and warehouses and trucking companies and concrete companies and farms and ranches with all the fiat, because they've been slowly devaluing it since 1913, 100 and plus years ago, with the Federal Reserve. Now the dollar's only worth 1% of what it was, but still that 1% now, they're going to devalue out very quickly and leave you with the devaluation and the inflation. And that's what's being sold. That's what's being pushed. That's the savior all over the news. The new form of currency could transform the way we see money. And they go on to tell us it's going to be on how you act and where you spend it and what you do, making money, not just the tax code, but money itself, pure social engineering. And that's where we are. You have lived to see the big banks take over. And they got the whole world through fraud. They got the whole world going back over 500 years ago in Europe with the Rothschilds and others, would be goldsmiths, and you'd keep your gold there so it wouldn't get robbed, your rubies or diamonds or silver. Back to see a big pawn shop. And then you would come and you would give them one gold coin worth X, and they learned they would give you script saying you had one gold coin, but they learned they could loan out 10, 15, 20 times more paper script checks than what they really had. And with that, they leveraged it. And there was lots of families doing it. The Rothschilds, the most famous, the most powerful. They got so powerful, they married into British royalty 300 years ago. And then in 1815, at the Battle of Waterloo, Lord Wellington defeated in his British-Prussian pincer attack Napoleon Bonaparte, and he sent carrier pigeons to the coast on fast corvette ships across to announce that morning that Lord Wellington had lost the war. And the British stock market plunged by 99%. Rothschild, of course, began selling right up front. Everybody panicked and began selling. Then they came in with the news, oh my God, Wellington has lost, British army destroyed. British Empire has collapsed. Napoleon rules the earth. And then as soon as everybody started selling, he bought it all up. And now, 200 plus years later, that system rules the entire planet, except for Russia and a few other countries, controls China, and now is about to put you on a digital system through an iPhone and your computer that tracks and traces where you go, what you do, that decides where you can go, what you can do, and decides what your child's going to be, and if your child will be allowed to have children, and you will be lesser than farm animals. And that's the system. So I've told you the background and why they're waging a new form of war to blow up the existing system. We're going to play that clip in a moment, and make you submit to this globalist takeover. And that's what they've done. And they admit it. They say it in the Great Reset. I'm going to play you clips when we come back. All run by face scanning. Oh, they're going to make you do it through the phone at first, but if you don't submit, it doesn't matter. The face scan will do it. And then they're going to say, well, people cover their face, so you've all got to have microchips. And that's all in Davos Group documents from 20 years ago and from 5 years ago, where Klaus Schwab says it on French TV. And now you see 60 Minutes telling you to do it. And all these fools think, I'll just go along. I'll be part of the system. I'll make money administering this. But you're coming down to the end of the road where you're going to lose everything you've got doing this. The only future is to say no to this. Plus, more importantly, it's about your soul and the decision you make against this right now. So that's the backdrop of why they've launched this bio war, to make us all sick and collapsing, so things fall apart, so we accept the new digital world government currency and the Great Reset. That's what they call it, the Great Reset. Build back better. Got to blow us up first. There's a global reset. Banks control the world through fraud. They want total social control of everything you do. When I talk about the bank, I don't mean the little farm bank, or I don't mean the local credit union, or I don't even mean the regional bank. Those are your friends. Those are good people on average. I'm talking about the private shareholders of the European Central Bank, the British Central Bank, the U.S. Central Bank, the Canadian Central Bank, the Australian and New Zealand central banks. Those are all owned by less than 10 families. We know the shareholders of the Federal Reserve in 1913, 100 plus years ago. And they want social control over everybody. They believe they own and run the planet, and they believe that you're like cockroaches that got into the cupboard that are in their food. And so they want to bring in a cashless society to be able to, again, behaviorally manipulate and control and have control over your body. And I told you this 20 years ago because it was in their own documents. I said they're going to come out with a world government with a world ID. It'll be on smartphones, I said 15 years ago, on record, it's in my film in game. And it will track and trace where you go and say where you can go and what you can do. And they will make you take GMO injections, because they said this, genetically altering injections, so that you will, quote, be better for the earth. And I remember doing research for Endgame, and we covered it 15 years ago, where they talked about, we'll give you an injection that makes you allergic to meat, so you won't be able to eat meat, and that'll lower the carbon footprint. Well, now one of Bill Gates' top people that's worked for the federal government, major universities, came out last year and said, we want to give you an injection that makes you allergic to meat. An mRNA vaccine that makes you allergic to meat. Just like I read, again, this is 15 years ago when this all came out, that they have behavioral modification mRNA. Now, there it is. Bioethicists suggest gene therapy to make people allergic to red meat or to reduce meat consumption. Shocking 2016 clip surfaces. So, he said it again last year. So let me just explain this. They have behavioral vaccines that, to get attention, I called brain-eating vaccines. Again, in a video I did 14 years ago that they've taken off YouTube that had about 16 million views when they took it down. And in the brain-eating vaccine video, I read the patents on live virus vaccines that eat certain parts of the brain that are receptor sites for heroin, cocaine, alcohol, cigarettes, you name it. It's the same receptors. And the viruses would then eat those receptors. Other ones would put a protein plaque in the receptor, a crystal, a prion, a lobotomy, spongiform encephalopathy. There it is. Behavioral vaccine for teen depression. Oh, you're depressed? We'll destroy those receptor sites, which are also associated with ecstasy and spiritual connections. Those are pain and pleasure amplification ports to interface with infinity. And the enemy wants those burned out. So they've been testing them on a lot of the soldiers, telling them it's vaccines for something else. And then really it came out, it was, quote, secret PTS testing, PTSD, where it would attack certain areas of the brain. And that's why in a lot of cases, so many of these troops have committed suicide, is not just that they're left alone and overworked and treated bad and told they're victims and told that they might want to kill themselves basically by their psychologists because there's no hope. It's more of it's a spell and brainwashing. But a large part of it is a lot of troops have been experimented on with live virus vaccines and others that actually eat the areas in their brains associated with depression, but also with exhilaration and triumph and ecstasy and simple pleasure. See, I'm having extreme pleasure right now fighting evil. I'm designed to do it. I'm designed to be in danger. I'm designed to challenge the enemy. I'm designed to piss them off. I'm designed to work 18 hours a day. I'm designed to have children and to cook big, delicious meals and to love amazing sunsets and to hunt animals and to make love. I'm alive. I interface with the universe and enjoy it. I worship it. And through that, I worship the Creator God. Beauty and the love of beauty and the love of goodness is worship of the Creator that made it. And see, the enemy wants that cut off. They want robots. These are the big secrets, my friends. We've become, this broadcast, hands down, is recognized by the entire resistance as the most effective, best fighter we've got against the globalist. And so I need you to go to InfoWars Store. We're selling all the shirts and stuff for, I guess, another day or two at cost. That just gets inventory out and gets money into our funds. We've got a bunch of products that are about to sell out, like Brain Force Ultra. It's still discounted. It's amazing. Green fiber capsules from the highest quality fiber from a bunch of key sprouts. So good for your body. Just, I can't tell you, the vitamins, the minerals, the trace elements, the special amino acids that are only in these type of green sprouts that are so good for your intestines. Not just for your whole body, for your guts particularly. That's 50% off. We have Down and Out Sleep Aid. 50% off. It's way stronger than Knockout. And I'm not competing the two. You know, some people want to drink beer, some want whiskey. And I'm using that analogy of how some people want to shoot a 50 caliber, some want to shoot, you know, a 357. But they're all strong, they're all excellent. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. 888-253-3139. But the enemy is working around the clock to silence us and shut us up. So I'm strategic. I know things. If we don't do certain things the next few months strategically, we will not be able to continue on in 6 months. So I need you to take action now. You should go to InfoWarsStore.com. I need you to buy whatever products you like or whatever you want. Water filters, air filters, storable foods, things you need. We've got great quality, great prices. Do it there. Shop with us. It's key in the fight against the globalist. You're standing right beside us. InfoWarsStore.com. InfoWarsStore.com. You can also make straight donations there in the support button. You click that, you see sponsor. That's how you become a sponsor. Make a one-time donation or recurring. We need the funds now. Take action. We fired the bat signal. InfoWars Store.